Like most people, I really like watching sunrises if I can get out of bed early enough to see them. Sunrises are beautiful. For me, though, sunrises also make me think about tree biology. As sunlight first strikes leaves of plants, those leaves start going through photosynthetic induction, the preparation of those leaves to do photosynthesis. Stomata open and photosynthetic enzymes start activating, and photosynthesis begins. Photosynthesis takes the energy in photons that have traveled all the way from the sun and stores that energy in the chemical bonds of sugars. Those sugars can then be strung together or synthesized into compounds that the tree can use to build body parts, or those sugars can be taken apart again later, and that energy from the sun released in a chemical form useful for the tree that it can use to survive. What I hope for you to get out of tree biology is an appreciation for the wonder of tree biology and the almost miraculous physiological processes that occur in trees and other plants. Just as importantly, I want you to have a practical understanding of how the biology of trees affects how they respond to their environment and the manipulation from people, so that you can be a more effective manager of trees and the ecosystems in which they live. I'm looking forward to working with you this semester.
This map shows the distribution of forests in the United States. We're fortunate in this country to have abundant forests. Over a third of our land area is forested. In Florida, it's over half, most of them north of Orlando. On the other hand, I spent my childhood in central Oklahoma and went to Oklahoma State University, where I earned a bachelor's degree in forest management. You'll notice that central Oklahoma doesn't really have forests, except in the far southeastern part of the state, where this huge bald cypress is. At any rate, as forestry students, we had to do a semester somewhere that did have forests. For me, that was in Cloquet, Minnesota. This is a picture of a big eastern white pine in northern Minnesota. We Okies are pretty excited to see trees this big. I distinguished myself at field camp by consistently walking in circles in the woods and never knowing which direction camp was at the end of the day. Since it was clear that I probably wouldn't survive long as a field forester, I headed to graduate school at the University of Georgia in Athens, where I started studying tree physiology. This is a photo of one of the loblolly pine trees that I tortured as part of my thesis research. After I finished my master's degree, I dragged my new spouse across the country to do my PhD at the beautiful campus of the University of Washington in Seattle. I did my research there on Pacific silver fir, a beautiful species that lives in the Cascade Mountains. One of the things that I learned in graduate school was that trees are big, which is why many of the photos of me doing research are on ladders, scaffolding, or towers. After I finished my doctorate, I received a job offer at the University of Florida. I didn't know much about Florida. This is what I pictured. What I quickly learned was that in addition to Disney and beaches, Florida had mosquitoes. Oh, and lots of forests. In fact, forest products are the largest agricultural commodity in the state, even bigger than citrus or horticulture. That's why I always say there shouldn't be an orange on our license plates. There should be a pine cone. Here at UF, in addition to this course, I also teach undergraduate courses in tree biology and the capstone course that many of you will take at the end of your time here. I do research mainly on southern pine plantations, trees that are grown in lines for wood. However, I love all types of forests. This is a shot from Hatchet Creek on our own Austin Carey Forest. You'll swat mosquitoes here before you're finished. I've been known to hug a tree on occasion. Here's a shot from a couple of years ago when I was standing in the middle of Redwood Creek in Redwood National Park. The tallest trees on Earth grow along this creek. Most of the redwoods along the bank are in the neighborhood of 200 feet tall, and taller ones stand a bit further up the bank. For a tree lover, this is like standing in the middle of a cathedral. In my spare time, I like to ride my bike, off pavement if I get a chance. I also run fairly slowly though. This is from the Flatwoods 5K, a race that's held almost every year at the Austin Cary Forest. My wife and I have been married since 1990, and I have 4 boys, 18-year-old twins and 14-year-old twins. Yeah, that's a little weird. It also costs a lot to feed them. So that's probably more than you wanted to know about me. I hope that during this semester and after this semester that you'll feel free to contact me, whether it's to talk about your career or forestry or trees, to tell me about problems that you're having in class or in the school, or just to tell me how well things are going. I love hearing that too. So again, I'm looking forward to this semester with you. Please feel free to stay in touch with me.